So I don't know if I'll post this or not. This did not turn out the way I would like it to, because normally I like to give lots of details on how to do stuff, and golly, this thing, I was fighting with it too much. So I might post it because there might be one or two little nuggets that might help somebody, but for the most part it's not how I liked it to turn out. With that being said, y'all go ahead and take a watch at it. Feel free to skip through, but yeah, here's what we got to do. What's going on, guys? Today we are going to tackle this transmission leak issue that we have. Now this will save you anywhere from the lowest, because I called around, if it was $150, maybe $200, I might have just had a transmission shop go ahead and take care of this leaking issue. That way, you know, I don't got to mess around with it. It's already done, and it'll save me a lot of time so I could work on my car. But that's not the case. So I called around, and like I said, the cheapest quote that I got to replace the pan gasket, the transmission dipstick tube O-ring, the shifter linkage grommet, I guess you want to call it, was $300 all the way up to $1,600. Let me tell you about that. So a lot of the places I called, they said they wouldn't even touch it. One transmission shop that I called, he said, yeah, he's like, I'll rebuild it anywhere. It'll be anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600 to rebuild it, and then you know it's done right and everything. Well, the thing is, the transmission shifts perfectly. It shifts in and out of gear. It shifts smoothly. It works. It's just leaking. So I'm not going to have the transmission rebuilt. I just wanted to stop bleeding. So I called a guy. Well, I looked on eBay, and there is a kit. Here's the kit. This is that shifter linkage grommet thing that we all have problems with. And so we're going to do this for $16, $17 delivered to the house, plus your fluid. Now on these 66 Mustangs, they take a special transmission fluid. It is a Type F. I'm sure you can see that there. It's a Type F eBay item. That's what it's called, $16.87, and free delivery. Here's the seller. I'm super impressed by this seller. Dealing with transmission, they're, you know, it's kind of black magic. I get intimidated by working on them, but I looked on YouTube here to see if there's a good video, and Auto Restoration had a pretty decent one, except once they were inside the transmission, I couldn't really see as well as I'd like to. So my goal is to actually show you hopefully a little bit better once I'm inside there. But I know it's close quarters, it's going to be dark, we're underneath the car and all that, so I'll do the best I can. But so I was apprehensive of doing this job, and I called the seller, and I was hoping there's some kind of, because the Ford manual, it does not show hardly anything. It shows you how to replace the gasket and the filter, but it does. You'd have to get a whole new repair manual for just the C4 transmission. So not really wanting to do that, because hopefully this will be the only time I have to make it in there. But I messaged the guy, and he gave me kind of a list of stuff that I need to do. I also found, I think it was this. No. Oh, I printed this off because I wanted to get the torque right. Because we got to take the valve body off, and whenever we put those bolts back in, I want to make sure that I torque them down to the right torque. So that's why I printed that off. I'm not doing a C4 reverse manual valve body. So one of the issues we were having was it's leaking from this tube. Painting it now. I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not. So if you do it at your own risk. But this little disc thing, it would move all the way up here and everything. I pushed it down on the sill, and then I made a couple little tack welds. And this was needing paint anyways. It was faded, it was chipping off, so I'm using some really cheap paint, and I'm just doing a whole bunch of light coats. Billy Bob was up in here, and this bolt right here, oops, they used way too long. It was actually a carriage bolt, a bolt on the end so you could at least undo it. But anyway, it's kind of a pain to get out, but we got to take this off, and that will let this dipstick come out. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so I got that bolt out. Now all you need to do is just grab this and kind of twist it just a little bit and pull out, and it'll pull out of the oh yeah. So we're going to clean this off, this tube up, and yeah, you can see they put some little silicone at the top of that to keep it from leaking. Yeah, we're going to clean this up real quick. May even paint it. Here's a bolt I found, and it didn't thread all the way. You can kind of see. I think that amount is okay that's not threaded, but this down here probably needed to be threaded because the threads didn't start till about right here. So I just re-threaded that, put a little black paint on there. So let's go clean this up. First of all, we need to get most of this big gunk off. That's going to be pretty easy to do. And then turn this on, let it start circulating. Alright. I'll just use a carburetor cleaner. Now, I do want to keep this O-ring so I'll know, what I need to replace it with in that little kit. But yeah, you can tell they've taken this off and try to keep it from leaking. See the silicone, it's in the O-ring that they put around the O-ring as well. Kind of pinch it, push it that way, then hopefully you can get it over that little lip, and then just walk it the rest of the way around. Doesn't feel too bad, really. This parts washer fluid is not all that cheap. Alright, so I decided to go ahead and sandblast this. This paint was kind of chipping and flaking and all that stuff, so I got a rubber tube or a rubber stopper, painter's tape, because I don't want to get any sand down on the inside, even though I'm going to clean it out real good. I just don't want to take as much precautions as I can. Alright, so you kind of get the point, so I'll finish that up and throw some paint on it. Get back with you. Alright, so we got all of it sandblasted down. That's a pretty good job. And I got it wiped down with some acetone. So now, just need to give it a couple coats of paint. And I really like this stuff. See, that looks pretty good. Like I said, I really like that paint. It lays down and covers really well, and it gives you a pretty nice finish as well. So, all right, I'll let that finish. This one is almost done. Might be done. I don't know. So. Alright, so let this finish drying and go from there. Since I don't have a lift, it's going to be kind of hard to show you how to take this off. But it's just like removing any transmission pan. You want to go take out all the bolts except for the ones in the corners. And then once you take out all the bolts except for the ones in the corner, you will loosen up one side. It doesn't really matter which side. Loosen those up and kind of crack the pan and let it down a little bit. The transmission fluid will drain out. Let it do its thing, just leave it alone, and then you can finish taking out those bolts. Once it's done doing its thing, just go ahead and pull those bolts completely out. And then loosen these bolts that's further up here. It's on the up side of it. And then that will allow the pan to drop more and more and drain out more and more of the transmission fluid. Like I said, I'm not going to show you that because you can watch a million other videos. It's probably 100 times better than mine. But I'll do that, and then that'll save some editing, and we'll get where we need to be. So, hang on a second. So I already wiped most of the junk off the back and the side. Pan does not look too horrible. I mean, there's going to be a little bit. There's going to be a little bit in there, but there's no like chunks, which that's the main thing. There's going to be a little bit of the disc fibers and stuff like that in there. Not that big a deal. The thing that does concern me is if you look here and here, it looks like it was hit, ran over something or whatever. It's not leaking from there, and it's not hindering anything. But maybe that's what knocked the pan gasket loose or whatever. See, it's pretty flat. Looks like there's a little bit of a bow. So we'll clean this up and I'll get back with you. Alright, so you can see how they've all been over tightened. I mean, you can look at the indentation. But so all I'm going to do is, let's see how well I can show or not. All I'm doing is sticking that right there. You can see might can see the gap. So here's something I learned. This 1966 Ford Mustang has a 1970s, early 70s transmission in it. It's still a C4, and all this should still fit. But that's part number TF123, and it was like $7, $7. What was it? Let's see, $7.39. So there you go. It does have, on this little lip, there is a spring. So we have this spring here, and this little plunger looking thing, and the plunger part goes into the transmission, and then the spring part will rest right here. Right, so I'm shooting blind, I can't see y'all, but this little plunger goes in this little hole here. Goes in there like that. Goes on like that. Get a bolt. And this bigger bolt goes right here. So this is the 7/8 bolt that we need to take out. It's right here. So we gotta take that out. And then that bolt, and this whole thing should slide out. I don't know if I had to take that out or not, so I'll get back with you.
So we got that 1/2-inch bolt that came off. This arm was like this. Kind of keep note of where that's at. A washer.
That just slides off.
Nice, man. I love slots. When you crave a Dr.
Gosh dang it. Alright, sorry about that. Stupid battery. So I got this out. It took a little bit to get it out, but not too bad. So here's one of the O-rings that come with the seal. I'm assuming this goes in here. There was one in it. I already took it out with the pick. I'll make sure there's no dirt, grease, grime, nothing like that. And that goes on there like that. And then this is on the inside. Kind of comes through just like that. Oh, there's a bolt that keeps that in there. So, alright, let's climb under there. We need to pull We need to pull this seal out. Alright, so here's the other seal we need to get out. And we want to make sure that we get the seal and not gouge up the this inner race kind of thing. So here's the seal that came out, and basically, let's see, basically what I did was I grabbed right there and then just prodded it out, and it popped out. It's not too bad. So the way this goes in is this open spot is on the inside. This sealed off spot is on the outside. So I'm going to lube this up with transmission fluid, and we'll poke that back in there. So I'm going to do my best to try to show and explain this. Alright, so this little gear looking thing right here, whenever this shaft goes through, there's a little flat spots, and you got to make sure that that little flat spot is like a keyway, and there's little flat spots on this little bracket piece right here. And so whenever that shaft goes through, the little those flat pieces kind of key in together, and then yeah, you can put that in there. So got the neutral safety switch on. It's not in, but I also need to tighten up the 7/8 bolt, and I need to put a cotter pin into the shifter link right there, and then we'll put this I'm assuming it's a kick down cable, but and then tighten that up. So let me do that. Holy cow, so this thing kind of kicked my butt. It's not really that it was so hard to do. I mean, it's fairly easy to do, but golly, every single thing was fighting me the whole time. So this kit came with these two nuts, and it's got a washer on the bottom of them, but I didn't see where that went to anything. So I don't know. Hopefully it don't leak. I got everything buttoned up on there. See what I'm saying? Battery just died. Yeah, like I said, this thing just kicked my butt. Every time I turned around, something was messing up or not working right. Like one of the bolts I found out that was in the transmission pan, supposed to be a 5/16 coarse thread, 18 tooth per inch TPI thread pitch, and it had an 8mm by 1.25 thread pitch, which is really close, but no cigar. So I kept fighting with that, trying to figure out why it wouldn't thread in, and then I finally figured out it's got to be the wrong bolt. Anyway, so I did that. I didn't have a bolt for it, so I had to cut one down, and fought with that longer than I should have. But the good news is I think I got everything buttoned up the way it's supposed to be. Whew, I'll tell you what. Last thing I need to do is just put transmission fluid in, but I didn't want to do that tonight just in case something leaked. I don't want it all leaking out overnight, so I'll do that in the morning, and then start it up and hopefully see if it still shifts and everything. And I guess also not leak. I was going to do this. This is the heater core for the Corvette. But if anybody knows these C3 Corvettes, heater cores are one of the worst things to do. you pretty much have to take the whole dash out, and it's up under there, and it's buried inside. So as much as I kind of wanted to do that, I'm going to hold off. I'll do something kind of easy tomorrow. But yeah, here's the let's see all the little particles and pieces that it's caught. And it is 10:57, pretty much 11 o'clock. So I fought with this thing all day. So I'm done with it. I'm gonna do something easy tomorrow. All right, so we got all of it sandblasted down. Does a pretty good job. And I got it wiped down with some acetone. So now just need to give it a couple coats of paint. And I really like this stuff. Okay. So, see, that looks pretty good. Like I said, I really like that paint. It lays down and covers really well, and it gives you a pretty nice finish as well. So, all right, I'll let that finish. This one is almost done. Might be done. I don't know. So, all right. So let this finish drying and go from there. Alright guys, y'all comment, rate, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. See ya.